Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Kunda Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Jaya Girivardhari Adhari Yasodanandana Jaya Prajajana Ranjana Jaya Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Ranjana Jaya Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajacharya Ashtatara Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Gonitai ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Shabhadra ki, Shri Shri Gunturaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaura Premanandi, all glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, glorious to Shri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pastachade Shatarine Hare Krishna.
Because the devotees are listening online, they cannot hear yesterday.
Oh, okay. Especially you're speaking very quietly. Hare Krishna. And there will be devotees today or not?
Here?
Monday? I mean online.
Online. There's already 3 or 4.
Oh, welcome to those devotees online. We're happy to be able to associate with you. Thank you for being with us. We apologize for yesterday. Maybe you can send a message. Can you hear right now? Ask them. Somebody should have told me yesterday. We could have either spoken louder or we could have turned up the microphone. Usually when I have a microphone I speak quietly because the microphone is usually magnifying the sound, but maybe yesterday it wasn't so effective. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I should have a computer somewhere. Is it not there? Oh, I'm losing my eyesight. Right in front of my nose. Hare Krishna. Somebody put it there. So, Hare Krishna. We hope you can hear now. How do we find out? Is there any communication with them?
I was checking there, but nobody's told anything. I will check again.
If we could see, we could put the thumb up, but obviously that's not the case. Srimad Bhagavatam. Just give me a second here. I think we're going to choose a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's see.
They can hear.
Huh?
They can hear. Already
They can hear.
They said okay.
And maybe some others are not with us because they didn't hear yesterday and they thought, oh, there's no point. But anyway, Krishna's in everyone's heart, guiding the wanderings of all living entities. Let's see what verse it is. So, as you didn't hear yesterday, we're going to mention very, very little bit about yesterday's topic. And we're going to read a verse. Now, I don't know if you have Portuguese. 10th canto.
10?
Canto 10, chapter 36. Chapter 36 is the slaying of Arista, the bull demon. I don't know, I know when I was a kid, probably 9 years old maybe, we came to Spain for a holiday and we were on a bit of a tourist tour, so they took us to the bull ring. And there they unfortunately do things to bulls. I didn't go, I refused to go. And I don't know if my parents went, I can't remember, but I didn't. And anyway, that was just a reminder that how unfortunate we are not understanding the value of a bull in society. I don't know if they have those things in Portugal.
Bullfighting, yes.
Bullfighting in Spain, it's very popular.
Yeah, here also.
Yeah, so anyway, these things are very animalistic and detrimental to one's spiritual life for sure, as well as bad karma. Okay, so I'm going to read a verse now. I'll go through it in Sanskrit. If you have it, it's 10th canto, chapter 36. You have it or not?
In Portuguese, no.
Text 16, so I don't know how you're going to do that. They haven't translated it into Portuguese?
Here online, the base I think is not too...
And those of us in Croatia who are online, Welcome to the devotees in Croatia, and we're happy to have your association also. Yeah, Nitai Charan is translating into Croatian. So if there are any Croatians, you can let them know they can tune in.
Portuguese online, Captain.
So if you want to make it easier for us, quite a purport, we're going to read the purport, so it'd be good if you have it. Do you have it?
Not in Portuguese.
So it was never translated?
I don't know. Here online we don't have, and
Oh,
the
what a
book
shame.
itself
Well,
there is not maybe here.
it'd be the 10th canto, part 1, 2, maybe part 3 or something like that of the 10th canto. 10th canto, part 3. If it's done the same as the English one is done.
We have the part 1.
Well, part 1 is common in almost all major languages, and most major languages have translated all the way through to the 12th canto, but not all. French is not finished.
Okay.
We're working on it, but Portuguese I do not know.
Just to, at least here physically we have to chapter 13.
Well, maybe the best thing is if you come right next to me in a chair. It's going to be difficult if you don't see it in front of your eyes.
I can use the phone also.
Oh, you have it on the phone. Okay.
Yes, on the phone I have in English.
All right. Harishte nihate daitye krishnendad bhuta karmana kangsasyataha. Excuse me. Kangsasyataha bhagavan narado deva darshanaha. 10:36:16. You tell them in Portuguese. 10:36:16.
Será o canto 10, capítulo 36, verso 16.
Because somebody out there may have it, you never know. So the translation of this verse: after Aristasura had been killed by Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Narada Muni went to speak to King Kamsa. The powerful sage of godly vision addressed the king as follows.
Tradução. Depois de Aristasura ter sido morto por Krishna, que atuou fantasticamente, Narada Muni foi falar com o rei Kamsa. Este poderoso sábio de visão de Deus falou com o rei da seguinte forma.
Purport. The term Deva Darshana can be understood in many ways, all of which are consistent with the context and purport of this narration.
O termo Devadashana pode ser compreendido de muitas maneiras, todas as quais consistem com o contexto do significado desta narração.
Deva means God and Darshan means seeing or an audience with a great personality.
Deva significa Deus e Darshana significa ver ou ter uma audiência com uma grande personalidade.
Thus Deva Darshana, a name for Narada Muni, indicates that Narada has attained the perfection of seeing God, that getting Narada's audience is as good as getting God's, since Narada is a pure representative of the Lord, and also that Narada's audience is as good as that of the demigods, who are also known as Devas.
Então, portanto, Devadashana, o nome para Narada Muni, indica que Narada obteve a perfeição de ver Deus. Portanto, ter a audiência de Narada é tão bom como obter a audiência de Deus, já que Narada é um puro representativo do Senhor. E, portanto, Narada, a audição com Narada é tão boa como a dos semideuses, que são também Devas.
That there are all these meanings of the term Devadarshana reveals something of the richness of Srimad Bhagavatam's language.
Portanto, todos estes significados e termos de Dharmadashana revelam algo que enriquece o Srimad Bhagavatam, a linguagem do Srimad Bhagavatam.
Now I'm going to jump over a little bit. That wasn't very relevant to today's subject matter, in one sense. We're going to hear now a little joking conversation about the origin of Radha Kunda.
Vamos ouvir uma conversa sobre a origem de Radha Kunda.
The innocent young gopis said, "Aha, Krishna, don't touch us now, O killer of a bull. Alas, even though Arista was a terrible demon, still he was a male cow. So you will have to undergo atonement just as Lord Indra did after killing Vritrasura. But how can you purify yourself without going to the trouble of visiting every single holy place in the three worlds?"
As inocentes gopis disseram: "Ah, Krishna, não nos toques. Acabaste de matar um touro. Alas. Mesmo que Aristasura seja um demónio terrível, ainda assim ele é um touro. E tens de executar atividades piedosas para que o Senhor, como o Senhor Indra fez depois de matar Vritrasura. Mas como podes purificar a ti mesmo, sem te dares ao trabalho de visitar todos os lugares sagrados dentro dos três mundos?"
Krishna replied, "Why should I have to wander throughout the entire universe? I will at once bring all the countless pilgrimage places here and take my bath in them. Just watch." With this, Lord Mukunda struck his heel on the ground.
Por que eu deveria caminhar por todo o universo? Eu vou então vou trazer todos os sítios de peregrinação aqui e tomar banho neles. Vê só. Assim, o Sr. Mukunda bateu com o seu calcanhar no chão.
Then Krishna said, "This is the water of the Bhagavati river, coming from the Patala region. And now, O holy places, all of you, please come here." When the Supreme Lord had spoken these words, all the holy places went there and appeared before him. Krishna then addressed the gopis as follows.
Isto é a água do Bhagavata River, do rio Bhagavati, vindo de Patala, da região de Patala. E agora, todos os sítios sagrados, por favor, venham até aqui. Quando o Supremo Senhor se falou desta forma, todos os sítios sagrados apareceram à sua frente. Krishna, então, dirigiu-se às gopis da seguinte forma.
"See all the holy places," Krishna said. But the gopis replied, "We don't see them as you describe."
Vejam todos os locais sagrados. E as gopis responderam: "Nós não vemos esses sítios como tu os descreves."
Then those best of holy places, joining their palms in supplication, spoke up.
Então, todos estes sítios sagrados, pondo as suas mãos juntas, suplicaram. E falaram da seguinte forma:
"I am the salt ocean. I am the ocean of milk. I am the Amara Dirghika.
Eu sou o oceano salgado. Eu sou o oceano de leite. Eu sou o Amara Dirghika.
I am the river Shona. I am Sindhu. I am Tamraparni. I am the holy place Pushkar. I am the river Saraswati. And we are the Godavari, Yamuna and Reva rivers and the confluence of rivers at Prayag. Just see our waters."
Eu sou o rio Shona, eu sou o rio Sindhu, eu sou o Tamaraparni, sou o sítio sagrado de Pushkara, eu sou o rio sagrado de Sarasvati. E nós somos Godavari, Yamuna e Reva, rios que confluem em Prayag. Vejam só as nossas águas.
After purifying himself by bathing, Lord Hari became quite arrogant and said, "I have produced a pond containing all the various holy places, whereas you gopis must never have executed any religious duties on this earth for the pleasure of Lord Brahma." Then Srimati Radharani addressed her girlfriends as follows.
Depois de se purificar a ele mesmo, banhando-se, o Senhor Hari ficou arrogante e disse: eu produzi este lago contendo todos os vários sítios sagrados. E vocês, gopis, nunca executaram nenhuma atividade religiosa nesta terra para o prazer do Senhor Brahma. E então Srimati Radharani falou com as suas amigas da seguinte maneira.
Then Radharani spoke to the gopis. She said, I must create an even more beautiful pond, so go to work. Having heard these words, the gopis saw that Aristasura's hooves had dug a shallow ditch just west of Sri Krishna's pond.
E Srimati Radharani disse.
This is Radha speaking. She's speaking to her gopis. I must create an even more beautiful pond, so you gopis go to work.
Srimati Radharani, a dirigir-se às gopis, disse o seguinte: vocês temos de criar um lago ainda mais bonito. Então vamos trabalhar. Depois de ouvir estas palavras, as gopis viram que os cascos de Aristasura tinham feito um buraco, mesmo perto do lago de Krishna.
At that nearby spot, all the gopis began digging up lumps of soft mud with their hands, and in this way a divine pond manifested in a short span of an hour. Krishna was astonished to see the lake they produced.
Neste local perto, todas as gopis começaram a escavar, tirando pequenos pedaços de lama com as suas mãos. E assim, desta maneira, um lago divino manifestou-se num pequeno, curto espaço de tempo de 1 hora. Krishna ficou estupefacto de ver como eles o produziram.
They prepared, not water, but a big dish. Krishna then said, go ahead, lotus-eyed one. You and your companion should fill this pond with water from mine. But Radha replied, no, this is impossible, since the water of your pond is contaminated by your terrible sin of killing a cow.
E Krishna disse, vão em frente. Vão em frente. Tu e as tuas companheiras deverão encher o seu lago com água do meu. Mas Radharani respondeu, não. Isso é impossível. Tendo a tua água sido contaminada por teres banhado lá, depois de teres morto este touro.
Radharani said, I will have my countless gopi companions bring the pure water of the Manasa Ganga here in billions of pots. In this way I will fill this lake with my own water and thus make its renown unequaled in the entire world.
Eu vou pedir às minhas companheiras gopis para trazer água do Manasiganga, nem que seja em bilhões de potes. E desta forma eu vou encher este lago com a minha própria água e criar então algo de renome incomparável neste mundo inteiro.
Lord Krishna then gestured to a heavenly person who was an intimate associate of all the holy places. Suddenly, that person rose up out of Krishna's pond and bowed down to the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, Radharani. Then, with palms joined and tears pouring from his eyes, he began praying to her in devotion.
Então, Lord Krishna fez um gesto para a personalidade divina, que é um associado íntimo de todos os lugares sagrados. E de repente, esta personalidade ergueu-se no lago do Senhor Krishna e prestou reverências à filha de Shri Vrishabhanu, Radharani. E depois, com as palmas unidas e lágrimas correndo pelos seus olhos, ele começou a orar a ela em devoção.
O Goddess, even Lord Brahma himself, the knower of all scriptures, cannot understand your glories, nor can Lord Shiva or Lakshmi. Only Krishna, the supreme goal of all human endeavor, can understand them, and thus he is eager to personally wash away your perspiration when you are fatigued.
Ó deusa, mesmo o Lord Brahma, ele mesmo, o conhecedor de todas as escrituras, não consegue compreender todas as tuas glórias. Nem sequer Shiva, nem sequer Lakshmi, apenas Krishna. O supremo objetivo de todo o sacrifício humano, nem todo o supremo esforço humano pode compreendê-los. E depois ele fica obrigado a ele pessoalmente
It's not easy to translate, is it? I wish we had. Where are you in the translation? Only Krishna, the supreme goal. You're reading there? Only Krishna can understand the glories of you, Radha. I'll say it in English, easy English. Only Krishna can understand your glories.
Só Krishna consegue compreender as tuas glórias.
And he is so eager to wash away the sweat, perspiration, sweat, when you are tired.
E ele está completamente ansioso de remover o suor quando estás cansado.
I'll abbreviate it into English. He always wants to decorate your lotus feet with very beautiful things.
Ele quer sempre decorar os teus pés com coisas maravilhosas.
He feels very happy. Krishna feels very happy, most fortunate, when he can satisfy the tips of your lotus, or the toes of your lotus feet.
Krishna fica muito satisfeito quando pode satisfazer os dedos dos teus pés de lótus.
Then he goes on. On Krishna's order, we have immediately come here to live in this excellent pond, which he created by one stroke of his heel.
Então, pela ordem de Krishna, nós viemos imediatamente viver neste lago que foi criado pelo seu calcanhar.
But actually, our desires will only be fulfilled if you kindly, basically she's saying, this great person is saying, if you kindly allow us to flow into your pond.
Mas só os nossos desejos poderão ser satisfeitos se tu amavelmente nos deixes ir para o teu lago também.
Hearing this prayer, next one, hearing this prayer by the representative of the full assembly of holy places, Sri Radha was pleased and said, so kindly tell me your desire.
Ouvindo estas orações faladas pelo representante de todos os lugares sagrados, Sri Radha ficou satisfeito e disse, então amavelmente diz-me o que desejas.
The holy places then said, our lives will be successful if we could come to your pond. That is the benediction we desire.
Então os rios sagrados então disseram, as nossas vidas serão bem-sucedidas se nos deixares ir para o teu lago. Isso é a bênção que nós desejamos.
So then, glancing at her beloved, that means Radharani glanced at Krishna from the corner of her eyes, and she replied with a smile.
Então Radharani, olhando pelo canto do seu olho para Krishna, sorriu e respondeu.
He said, please come. Her gopi companions all agreed with her decision and became immersed in the ocean of happiness. Indeed, the beauty of all creatures, both mobile and stationary, was enhanced.
Então ela respondeu, por favor, venham. As suas companheiras gopis todas concordaram e esta decisão tornou-se num oceano de felicidade. Na verdade, a beleza de todas as criaturas, tanto móveis quanto imóveis, ficou realçada.
Thus, gaining the grace of Srimati Radharani, the holy rivers and lakes in Sri Krishna Kund forcibly broke through its boundary walls and swiftly filled Radha Kund with their waters.
Então, obtendo assim a graça de Srimati Radharani, todos os rios sagrados e lagos transbordaram para Shri Krishna Kund, transbordaram de Shri Krishna Kund forçosamente e criaram forçosamente através de uma parede e rapidamente entraram em Radha Kund com as suas águas.
Lord Hari then said, "My dear Radha, may this pond of yours become even more world-renowned than mine. I will always come here to bathe and to enjoy my water pastimes. Indeed, this lake is as dear to me as you are."
Então o Sr. Hari disse: "Minha querida Radha, sei que este teu lago se torne reconhecido em todos os mundos, mais do que o meu. Que eu venho aqui banhar-me e desfrutar das suas águas e passatempos. Na verdade, este lago é tão querido para mim como tu."
Radha replied, "I will come to bathe in your pond as well, even though you may kill hundreds of Arista demons here. In the future, anyone who has intense devotion for this lake," she's referring to Shamakund, "which is on the spot where you chastise the Ristasura, and who bathes or resides here is sure to become very dear to me."
E Radha respondeu: "Eu vou também banhar-me no teu lago. Mesmo que mates centenas de demónios como Arista. E no futuro, qualquer um que com intenção devocional por este lago foi o local onde castigaste a Aristasura e que se banhe e resida aqui, certamente será muito querido para mim."
So there's a benediction here. Anyone who bathes in Radha Kund becomes very dear to Krishna. Anyone who bathes in Shamakund becomes very dear to Radha. Good to bathe in both. If you're going to bathe, at least take respect from both kunds. That night, Lord Krishna initiated a rasa dance at Radha Kund, generating a torrent of the greatest mood of splendorous pleasure. Sri Krishna resembled a cloud, and Srimati Radharani a brilliant flash of lightning, filling the sky with abundant beauty. In this way, their divine glories permeated the expanses of the three worlds. Best of luck.
Nessa noite, o Sr. Krishna iniciou a dança de raça no Radha Kunda, gerando uma torrente de grande humor, de esplendor e prazer. Shri Krishna assemelhava-se a uma nuvem e Srimati Radharani é um flash brilhante de luz que enchia o céu com beleza abundante. E desta forma, as suas divinas glórias premiaram a expansão dos três mundos.
Jai. That's just a little bit. There are some slight variations one could say of that story, but basically it's the normal story which one hears about the appearance of Radha Kunda and Shamakund.
Há algumas pequenas diferenças de variações desta história, mas basicamente é a história que conhecemos do aparecimento de Radha Kunda.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to bathe in Radha Kunda.
Okay.
Are we all ready? Yesterday we heard a little bit about that pastime and a few other things. And today we're going to hear about a sense why is Radha Kunda so dear to Krishna.
Ontem falámos sobre porquê de se banhar e a importância e fazê-lo. Hoje vamos falar pouco mais.
And it's as dear to Krishna as Radharani herself.
E Radha Kunda é querido para Krishna como Radharani.
So when we go, if we do go, or if we meditate on, or we look up on picture or whatever, we should remember that this Radha Kunda and Shamakund are none other than Radha and Krishna themselves.
Sempre que olhamos para uma fotografia, nos lembramos de Radha Kunda e Shamakund, temos de nos recordar que são Krishna e Radha eles mesmos.
Obviously. Let's listen anyway. We'll hear something from Raghunath Das Goswami first of all. Raghunath Das Goswami is, you could say, the most prominent of all the devotees as far as service to Radha Kunda goes.
Raghunath Goswami foi grande servidor de Radha Kunda.
Can they hear you? You're speaking very quietly.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope so.
So Raghunath says, it is filled with the glory of Radha's love for Krishna. Krishna loves it as much as he loves Radha.
Então, Raghunath disse que está cheio de amor para Krishna, por Radharani. Está cheio de amor, assim como o amor que Krishna tem por Radharani.
So it's the love which Krishna, which really, Radha's love, which really captivates Krishna.
Então é o amor de Radharani que captura Krishna.
And it's like that in relationships, you could say, isn't it? It's not only that maybe the looks, maybe their capacity or abilities, but actually the love which a person expresses, which really captures the heart.
Certamente é o amor que captura o coração.
And from Krishnadas Kaviraj, another famous Vaishnava who also spent his time there in Radha Kunda, Shamakund district.
Então, outro Vaishnava que também passou o seu tempo ali em Radha Kunda.
Don't forget, these are eternal associates of the Lord. They're not ordinary sadhakas like we are.
Não se esqueçam que estes são eternos associados do Senhor, não são como nós.
They're internal associates, of the highest degree in the Madhurya rasa.
São associados no nível máximo de Madhurya Rasa.
So they can really understand the glories of Radha Kunda and Shamakund.
Eles conseguem compreender verdadeiramente as glórias de Shamakund e Radha Kunda.
So Krishnadas says, Radha Kunda is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself, because it continually fills Krishna's mind and heart with remembrance of Radha.
Então, Radha Kunda é tão querido para Krishna porque constantemente enche a sua mente com pensamentos de Radharani.
It's a nice comment, a nice statement, because we find that, pictures of Krishna are Krishna himself. The holy name is Krishna himself.
Nós podemos também ver que fotografias de Krishna são ele mesmo, o santo nome é ele mesmo.
Because they remind us of Krishna.
Porque eles nos lembram de Krishna.
Same here. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, later in our time span, you can say he appeared later, but he's also probably the most famous commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam of recent times.
Então, provavelmente será comentador do Bhagavatam mais conhecido. Ele apareceu pouco tempo depois, apesar de ser associado ao Senhor.
We'll just make a few comments from his statements. The wise say that by approaching these lakes, one directly approaches Radha and Krishna.
Os sábios dizem que, ao aproximarmos destes lagos, nós aproximamos diretamente a Radha e Krishna.
They're always longing to meet. Radha and Krishna always want to meet, but they're forced, when forced to remain separate, Radha and Krishna assumed the forms of Radha Kunda and Shamakund.
Queremos sempre estar juntos, mas nunca podendo. Eles obteram estas formas de Radha Kunda e Shamakund.
This way they're always together. In this way they become splashed with the nectar of meeting each other.
Assim estarão sempre unidos e assim são sempre salpicados com o néctar de se encontrarem.
Out of kindness to the people, so they could directly taste their sweetness. How are we going to do this? It's quite a long sentence. Let's do it first. Out of kindness to the people.
Por bondade para com as pessoas.
So they, meaning the people, could directly taste their sweetness.
As pessoas assim podem obter a sua doçura.
Radha and Krishna become these two lakes.
Radha e Krishna tornaram-se estes dois lagos.
Shining with happiness.
Brilhando de felicidade.
The devotees bathe in these two lakes.
Os devotos banham-se nestes dois lagos.
Very interesting. When we see the reasons for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, in one sense they are very akin to this particular statement, the love which Radharani is experiencing.
Então o aparecimento de Lord Chaitanya está de certa forma ligado a este sentimento de Radharani.
The sweetness of that relationship.
A doçura desta relação.
Like that. And let's see, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Maybe. Okay, we'll read it. I think that when Radha and Krishna, I think when Radha saw Krishna, she melted with ecstasy, and thus assumed the liquid state of the waters of Radha Kunda. And in the same way, when Krishna saw Radha. Oh, okay. Say the first part.
Então, podemos dizer que quando Radha Rani viu Krishna, ela derreteu-se e criou estas águas.
And in the same way, when Krishna saw Radha, he also melted in ecstasy and became the waters of Shamakunda.
E desta forma também podemos dizer que Krishna, ao ver Radha Rani, derreteu-se e tornou-se as águas de Shamakunda.
We heard the other day how Narottam's body merged into the Padma River. He became milk, turned into milk, which is another story, of course. Materially, this is both inconceivable and not probably very much desired either, but spiritually, this is a manifestation of the highest ecstasy, loving exchange. In this way, these two lakes bear the names and qualities of the divine couple.
E assim, estes dois lagos têm as formas, as qualidades do casal divino.
And room conversation with Srila Prabhupada 76. There is no difference between Radha Kunda and Radha Rani.
Uma conversa de quarto com o Srila Prabhupada. Não há diferença entre Radha Kunda e Radha Rani.
Prabhupada said Radha Kunda should be respected as Radharani herself.
Radha Kunda deve ser respeitado como Radharani ela mesma.
That is Radha Kunda consciousness.
Isso é consciência de Radha Kunda.
Highest Radha Kunda consciousness.
A consciência mais elevada de Radha Kunda.
We'll bear that in mind. And that's why many devotees never place their feet into Radha Kunda.
Isso é uma das razões pela qual os devotos nunca põem os seus pés em Radha Kunda.
Generally, respectfully takes 3 drops of water, a little palmful of water, and maybe sprinkle it over your head and pay respect to the Kunda.
Normalmente temos algumas gotas de água na mão e salpicamos a nossa cabeça.
This will raise
E respeitamos.
questions and discussion on this subject, and we did mention that yesterday.
Isto levanta algumas dúvidas e questões sobre este assunto, mas nós falamos.
We'll hear more about that in a minute.
Vamos ouvir mais sobre isso.
Oh, another question. Is Radha Kunda, is the Radha Kunda that Radha and Krishna personally see the same as the one that we see?
Então, será que Radha e Krishna veem a mesma coisa que nós vemos?
Well, if we read the descriptions of Radha Kunda from various scriptures, we'll find that there's a considerable difference in the description of Radha Kunda to that which we see with our mundane eyes.
Se lermos as escrituras, a descrição que vimos é pouco diferente da que está descrita, a que vemos com os nossos olhos mundanos é pouco diferente da que está descrita.
And we're not going to read all those details of the nature of Radha Kunda, the lotus, and all the various beautiful descriptions of the gems and the beautiful arrangements that are there in Radha Kunda, and the palaces and everything is just incredible description of a world beyond our imagination, practically.
Não vamos ler tudo sobre esta descrição que vai do mundo todo para além da nossa imaginação, com palácios e natureza.
We'll just hear a little bit from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj.
Vamos ouvir só pouco de Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj.
He says that Radha Kunda is always invisible to mortal eyes.
Ele diz que Radha Kunda é sempre invisível para os olhos mortais.
Krishnadas Kaviraj tells us that only those on the threshold of bhava and who have the appropriate bhava to see Radha Kunda as it is can see it. Others cannot see it at all.
São aqueles que estão já perto de bhava é que podem ver Radha Kunda. E mesmo assim os outros não conseguem vê-lo de forma alguma.
So where are we at? What are we seeing?
Onde é que estamos? O que é que nós vemos?
I guess that will also depend on our lowly state of consciousness. There will be differences there.
Vai depender do nosso nível de consciência, das diferenças que estão lá.
But we should see it through the eyes of the pure devotees of the Lord.
Mas devemos vê-los através dos olhos dos devotos puros do Senhor.
Ask ourselves, am I on the threshold of bhava?
Então perguntamos a nós mesmos, estamos nós no nível de bhava?
Maybe bhava road. Maybe we're we're not on the threshold, we're in the middle of birth and death, we're in the middle of material entanglement.
Estamos no meio de nascimento e morte, estamos no meio deste mundo material.
Can we really see Radha Kunda?
Podemos nós conseguir ver Radha Kunda?
Rupa Goswami describes the characteristics of a person who's actually developed his bhava for Krishna.
Rupa Goswami descreve as pessoas que tiveram nível de bhava por Krishna.
And he mentions in Nectar Devotion, you can read it, it's in chapter 18, I'm not going to read them all, but description there of one who's actually in bhava bhakti.
No Néctar de Devoção, capítulo 18.
Won't go through it. But there may be some degree of these characteristics in an aspiring or a neophyte devotee, a progressive devotee. You will certainly have. But when it comes to the bhava stage, all of these characteristics are fully manifested.
Pode haver alguma destas características no devoto iniciante ou no devoto em progresso, mas elas só são manifestas na totalidade em alguém que já atingiu este estado.
Prabhupada talks about, not directly in relationship to Radha Kunda maybe, but in general, in relationship to Krishna or the holy name, whatever.
Prabhupada normalmente não fala diretamente sobre Radha Kunda, mas fala em direção com o sentido de com o santo nome.
How there are two conceptions of understanding the presence of something or somebody.
Dois conceitos de entender a presença de alguém ou de alguma coisa.
One is what we see, the physical conception with air-conditioned eyes.
Um é o que vemos com a nossa condição dos olhos físicos.
And everyone's, even when we go to Radha Kunda, different devotees, different people, will see it differently.
Então, as pessoas que vão ao Radha Kunda veem-no de maneira diferente.
Maybe I don't say for sure, but maybe some, if you're an animal body, you'll probably see it as a place to drink some water or something,
Se, por exemplo, estiveres no corpo de animal, podes ver estes lagos como um sítio para beber água.
Just like when Krishna entered into the arena of Kamsa, for the Dana Yagya there, the wrestling match, everyone saw Krishna differently.
Assim como quando Krishna entrou na arena de luta de Kamsa, que eles viram Krishna de forma diferente.
Maybe some people will see Radha Kunda as a nice place to have a bath. I don't mean a spiritual one, cleaning our smelly body. Well, some people hope that doesn't occur usually because of its sanctified, understood of its sanctified nature, but somebody might see it as a good place to wash your clothes or wash your pots and pans.
Apesar da sua natureza santa, muitas pessoas podem olhar para ele como um sítio para lavar as suas roupas.
Different people may have, in different conditions, they'll see it there, and even the degree of devotion will vary according to the level of our adhikar or our progress in spiritual life.
Mesmo o nosso nível de devoção depende do nosso estado elevado.
So the physical presence, so to speak, particularly, or the physical conception, the material conception, is at most only a temporary picture, which one may see.
Então a natureza material é algo temporário que nós podemos ver.
Of course, we could say that picture remaining in our heart is purifying, and for sure, there's a truth in that.
Podemos dizer que essa imagem no nosso coração nos está a purificar, se há verdade nisso.
But unless one progresses a little bit beyond just a picture and understands a little bit more about the intrinsic, or let's say the essential aspect of Radha Kunda, one may find oneself having to take birth again.
Então, se nós formos um pouco para além da imagem em si e percebermos o que está por trás de Radha Kunda, sim, nós podemos então perceber.
So Prabhupada describes more about the other path of perception, which is through hearing.
Prabhupada descreve mais sobre o outro processo, que é o processo de ouvir.
And hearing includes, of course, application of what we hear also.
Ouvir implica também nós tomarmos
Not
ação
just
sobre o que
seeing,
ouvimos.
not
Não
just
apenas
seeing,
ver.
but seeing through hearing.
Ver através de ouvir.
And this is the effect of cleansing our consciousness.
Este é o efeito, limpar a nossa
Takshi
consciência.
Krishna Namadi, Nabhavad Graimindri. With our material senses, we cannot see the transcendental nature of Radha Kunda or the holy name of Krishna.
Com os nossos sentidos materiais nós não podemos ver a transcendência da
But we hear about it,
Nós
and
ouvimos
we apply what we hear.
e aplicamos o que ouvimos.
In this way, Krishna, we can read this in numerous places, cleanses our consciousness so that our vision becomes clarified.
E desta forma, Krishna limpa a nossa visão, limpa-nos para que ficamos com a visão mais clara.
This is how we can associate our stage with Radha Kunda. We hear about the glories of Krishna, the glories of Radha and Shama Kunda, of course, the glories of the holy name, and we try to follow the process of serving those divine personalities.
Então é assim que nós fazemos. Ouvimos as glórias destes locais, destas personalidades, e desta forma tentamos seguir e associar-nos com estas personalidades desta forma, desta maneira.
So, by hearing attentively, it's said that one can understand the nature, by the grace of Krishna, the transcendental nature of Radha and Krishna.
Dizem que por ouvirmos atentamente, nós conseguimos perceber a natureza transcendental de Radha e Krishna.
So much, therefore, we would say depends on the quality of our hearing and our attachment for hearing Krishna conscious, Krishna Katha.
Da nossa capacidade de ouvir, da nossa tensão de ouvir, de consciência
This is
que ouvimos.
how the heart becomes cleansed and how Krishna gives us the understanding of his transcendental nature when we're attentive.
Quando estamos atentos, Krishna limpa-nos o coração e ajuda-nos a perceber com mais clareza.
This material conception is so strong in our hearts. It's not so easy to be attentive, is it?
Esta natureza material é tão condicionante que é muito difícil estarmos atentos.
Or let's say the quality of it, not just attention, but the quality of our chanting.
Não só a atenção, mas a qualidade.
Ultimately, the quality means with love.
Ultimamente, a qualidade significa com amor.
At our stage, at least that quality is we have some faith and we're trying to hear attentively the message of Krishna consciousness.
Neste momento pode significar termos fé e com essa fé obtermos
Even
ouvir atentamente.
Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, have you heard me attentively, with an attentive mind?
Diz para ouvirmos com atenção, com a mente atenta.
If you do not hear me, you'll be lost.
Se não me ouvires, estarás perdido.
This is what's going on. We're chanting Hare Krishna, but we're not hearing.
Nós estamos a cantar Hare Krishna.
Something is there, but it's not very, absolute. It's very relative.
Está lá alguma coisa, mas é...
We're going to go on to another question now. This is perhaps one of the most interesting ones. What does it mean to bathe in Radha Kunda?
Esta questão. O que significa banhar-se em Radha Kunda?
Well, you put your gamcha on and you just jump in. Simple as that, right?
Só pôr a gamcha e saltar, simples.
You go back to Godhead with a gamcha on? Is that the qualification? That you can jump or you can swim? Or is that the qualification?
Essa qualificação, sabes saltar ou nadar.
You have to, what's the verse? Yes, yatma bhaktir bhagavad kinchana gunai sarva tatra samasata sarva. No, that's not it. What is it? Yasyatma buddhi kunipetu tadake svadi kala tradishu boma ijadi. Yatirta buddhi kalilena sahijik janeshra biyeshra eva gokara. Translate. Something like that. One who thinks that this body made of the three various material elements is the self.
Aquele que pensa que este corpo material é o eu.
One who thinks that the place of my birth is, kind of worshipable, that we identify with it.
Aquele que se identifica com o seu local de nascimento.
One who thinks these are my family members.
Este que pensa estes são os meus familiares.
One who goes to a holy place, a pilgrimage, just to take a bath, but doesn't listen to the saintly people there.
Aquele que vai a sítio de peregrinação para tomar um banho e ouvir as pessoas santas
is as good as an animal.
é tão bom como um animal.
So another, you could say, reality check how much we're off the bodily platform of life,
Outra realidade para nos fazer entender quando estamos na plataforma material.
Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, well, we read yesterday actually from the Nectar of Instruction, it was his comment, writes that even great devotees like Narada and Sanatan do not get the opportunity to come to Radha Kunda to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees?
Como lemos ontem, devotos como Narada e Sanatana, nem eles têm a oportunidade de estar completamente...
Jai, Jai, Jai.
Dizer de nós.
Well, you just heard about the glories of Narada Muni. So even he's not eligible to take baths. What to speak of us? And why? Why? He's a great sage, an eternal associate of the Lord. He's always present in Krishna's pastimes, going here and there practically, but he can't bathe in Radha Kunda. This is weird.
Do Senhor está em todos os seus passatempos, ele vai daqui, vai em todo lado. Por que não se pode banhar em Radha Kunda?
Sanat, maybe we can understand a little bit, They're maybe not quite. They're usually, Jnana Mishra Bhakti or something, maybe. What about Narada Muni?
Podemos compreender, ok, talvez não esteja lá, mas
No,
Narada Muni.
he also doesn't have what's called a Sthayi Bhav. He doesn't have the right emotion for bathing in Radha Kunda.
Porque ele não tem a emoção certa para se banhar em Radha.
Doesn't work, just like Lakshmi Devi. Narada Muni is understood to worship Lakshmi Narayana. So even Lakshmi Devi is not able to enter into the rasa dance.
Mesmo a Lakshmi Devi não tem possibilidade de entrar na...
Lakshmi Devi. What to speak of Radha Kunda?
Falar então de Radha Kunda.
So Narada Muni, he's not in Madhurya Bhav. You have to be in Madhurya Bhav to enter Radha Kunda.
Narada Muni não está em Madhurya Bhav, ele não consegue entrar em Radha Kunda.
Not a cheap thing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells us Radha Kunda is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends or the gopis and the sakis. Sorry, Radha Kunda is the most select place
Radha Kunda é lugar muito restrito.
for those interested in advancing their devotional service
Aqueles interessados em avançar no seu serviço devocional.
in the mood or the wake, following in the footsteps of the sakis, the gopis,
Seguindo as pegadas das sakis ou gopis.
and the confidential serving maids, manjaris,
E das manjaris.
of Srimati Radharani.
Ou Shrimati.
So if we don't have that interest, then, we don't know, but we're probably not at a level to even understand anything about our actual Sthayi Bhava, our actual eternal emotion, but certainly in the neophyte stage, we're not on that level, that's for sure.
Sim, nós podemos compreender muita coisa, mas no nível inicial nós estamos nesse nível certamente.
So one could say, yes, Radha Kunda is the most elevated, the highest place. Devotees may aspire for that opportunity, but is it the best place for us?
Nós podemos dizer, sim, Radha Kunda é o sítio mais elevado, está num nível bastante...
The same thing
É o sítio certo.
one could say about some of the most esoteric, confidential pastimes, which, for instance, in Govinda Lila Rita and other scriptures describe about Radha and Krishna's pastimes.
Estamos a falar de várias descrições dos passatempos de Radha e Krishna.
But our acharyas warn us, you be careful, you're going into dangerous waters, we're not eligible to understand this subject matter.
Mas os acharyas avisaram-nos, tenham cuidado quando leem sobre estes assuntos, podem não os compreender.
Just like me, I might say, what is that beach again called? Nevera or something? I think, no problem, I'm going to go there to take a bath.
Maharaj está a dizer como se aquela praia de Nazaré, como vamos lá àquela praia de Marmã.
People don't go there to bathe usually, they go there to surf.
Geralmente eles não vão lá para se banhar.
I think if I went there, I would go there to suffer, not to surf. They have waves as high as 30 meters sometimes.
Às vezes há ondas de 30 metros de
And there's
altura.
these people surfing on top of those waves. They're expert. But if you're not expert, don't go there. You'll be finished. Completely finished forever. Huh? Destroyed. So be careful. Not eligible to try to imitate those who are eligible doesn't work. We have to follow in their footsteps. They teach us the path which may awaken our eligibility to actually enter into Radha Kunda. Prabhupada says, if by great fortune one gets the opportunity to come to Radha Kunda and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna exactly as the gopis did.
Se nós formos afortunados, porque Srila Prabhupada diz, se dia pudermos banhar no Radha Kunda, dia podemos despertar este amor como dos gopis.
That sounds easy. It was very fortunate. I managed to get a rickshaw to Radha Kunda.
Parece bastante fácil, é só
Great fortune, huh?
uma rickshaw para Radha Kunda.
Someone took me there. Really fortunate.
Alguém me levou lá, que
Yeah. I'm fortunate it was nice weather.
boa fortuna e está a bom tempo também.
Very good fortune I could swim. All good fortune, huh? That's what it means, right?
É o que significa boa fortuna, não?
Well, maybe a little bit more than that.
Talvez pouco mais que isso.
What is that great fortune?
O que é essa grande fortuna?
It's the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada in our case.
É a misericórdia de Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu e seus acharyas.
That's our great fortune.
Isto é a nossa grande fortuna.
If they, by their great mercy, then we may have access to Radha Kunda.
Pela sua grande misericórdia, nós podemos ter acesso a Radha
But
Kunda.
not just the physical perception of Radha Kunda.
Não apenas a percepção física.
The internal one, the real one.
É a verdadeira, é interna.
And then Prabhupada goes on to say, undoubtedly, or Rupa Goswami rather says, undoubtedly Radha Kunda is very rarely attained even by the great devotees.
E mesmo Radha Kunda é muito difícil de alcançar, mesmo pelos grandes devotos.
Therefore it's even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain.
Então será ainda muito mais difícil para devotos ordinários.
So, ask oneself, am I a great devotee or am I an ordinary devotee?
Então podemos nos perguntar a nós mesmos, nós somos um grande devoto ou
Or
devoto?
maybe, are we a devotee at all?
Ou se somos sequer
Well, to speak of an ordinary one,
falar do
we may wonder, I don't think I'm a devotee at all actually. Where do I fit? Maybe I should stay somewhere else. What does it mean to bathe in Radha Kunda?
O que significa banhar-se em Radha Kunda?
Okay, let's have a little look at that purport we read yesterday. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he once takes a bath in Radha Kunda. I don't know, you may not be able to find it. That would be difficult.
Which verse is that?
Which verse, Maharaj?
Huh?
Which verse is that?
I don't know. We read it yesterday. I've got no idea. These are just notes I've got. From the Nectar of Instruction, but which one I don't know. There's only a short comment. It is stated, we read it just now actually, it is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna.
Então está citado que devoto pode obter o amor por Krishna
In the wake of the gopis, if he once takes bath in Radha Kunda.
da forma como os gopis, se ele
I took bath in Radha Kunda. I took bath a few times in Radha Kunda. I don't now, but I have done in the past. 1976 I took bath there. And at least 2 other times after that, once at midnight on Balashtami, at least maybe twice. Perhaps another time. At least 2, 3, 4 times I've taken bath. I'm still wondering, where is that pure love of Krishna in the mood of the gopis? Where I'm missing it somewhere. Rupa Goswami then recommends that even if we cannot live permanently on the banks of Radha Kunda,
Rupa Goswami diz, mesmo que não possamos viver permanentemente
at least you should take bath as many times as you can.
pelo menos vamos banhar o máximo de vezes que
You
conseguirmos.
go in, come out, go in, come out, go in, come out.
Entramos, saímos.
And still we're dirty.
E assim estaremos contaminados.
This is the most important item in the execution of devotional service.
Isto é muito mais importante na execução de serviço devocional.
So, what are we talking about here?
Então, o que é que estamos a falar?
It seems something's missing, huh?
Parece que há algo que está a faltar.
Have we really awoken our pure love for Radha and Krishna by bathing there?
Estamos mesmo a despertar este amor por Radha e Krishna se banharmos lá.
Has there been this real transformation of heart?
Está a acontecer mesmo esta transformação de coração.
Maybe, as mentioned earlier that by Prabhupada, that there may be some apparently a temporary effect, but then there's not the complete transformation has not taken place.
Talvez como o Prabhupada tenha descrito, pode acontecer temporariamente uma pequena mudança, mas
So
não
let's
permanente.
hear something now from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj.
Só visto por Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj.
This is from a lecture in 1932.
É de uma classe de 1932.
You were not there. No. 1932. No. Bit before your time. Yeah. October 1932. Only by Radha's mercy can one reside eternally on the bank of Radha Kunda.
Só por misericórdia de Radha nós podemos viver nas margens de Radha Kunda.
The superlative means absolutely topmost place in the entire creation.
O lugar de topo de toda a criação.
Therefore, in his ultimate instruction, Rupa Goswami mentions bathing in Radha Kunda.
É por isso que Rupa Goswami nos diz, banhem-se em Radha Kunda.
This is from the lecture.
Isto é desta classe.
Radha Kunda is very merciful, but we have to be very careful also.
Radha Kunda é muito misericórdia.
When we're associating with great devotees, we're associating with the deities, we have to be very careful.
Quando nos associamos com devotos, com as deidades, temos de ter muito cuidado.
Everything like that, really, but especially that which is obvious, a little bit more obviously Krishna's presence there.
Contudo, no geral, mas com algo que tem mais presente a presença de Krishna.
And especially with Radha Kunda,
Especialmente
which is the holiest, most sanctified, superlative place of all.
É o lugar mais santo de toda a criação.
So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says, I have taken bath in Radha Kunda. I took a dip in Radha Kunda. I am a lump of flesh and blood. I am my wife's maintainer. I am a sannyasi. I am a brahmachari. A kshatriya, vaishya or shudra. Thinking in any of these ways disqualifies one to bathe in Radha Kunda.
Pensando desta forma, desqualifica-nos para tomar banho em Radha Kunda.
What to speak of such materialistic conceptions?
Falar dessas qualificações mundanas.
Even if we are filled with awe and reverence, we also cannot bathe in Radha Kunda.
Mesmo que estejamos no humor de reverência, não nos podemos banhar.
So, if you have any material desire, he says in another place, even if you have any material desire whatsoever, you're not eligible to bathe.
Mesmo que tenhas qualquer tipo de desejo material.
If you have any inkling of awe and reverence, you're not eligible to bathe.
Se tiveres algum tipo de inclinação,
So what have you got? What do you have?
Então o que é que nós temos?
We've already, at least I have, concluded I don't have love of Krishna. Maybe a little bit of awe and reverence and a lot of material desires. So are we eligible? Well, if someone is, we bow down to your lotus feet. We have to tread the path of Sri Radha's maidservants without imitating them. Follow, don't imitate.
Seguir os passos das amigas de Radharani, mas imitar, seguir, mas não imitar.
Following up on the same point, of course, there's another verse which is quite famous. Mahapasadi Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnavi Swapa Punyavatam Rajan Vishvasona Vajayate. As he faces are lighting up. Prasadam is almost ready. Excitement is coming about. That means, what does it mean to us? We don't really think of the meaning at all, really. What does it mean? It's prasadam time, Prabhus. Hurry up. Right? Time to enjoy. So if we have that type of conception that taking a holy place as ordinary place, or holy waters as just ordinary waters, deity is just a stone or whatever. We have this type of mentality, then, we're possessed of hellish mentality, basically.
Se tivermos essas mentalidades, por exemplo, então, quando pensamos em praçados, pensamos em desfrutar os sentidos, ou as águas do rio sagrado são apenas umas águas, ou a deidade é só pedra ou madeira.
If we're still identifying with the body and the mind as a self, or we're still affected by it, attached to it like that.
Estamos identificados com o corpo ou com a mente, estamos assim identificados desta forma.
We're not eligible to take a bath in Radha Kunda.
Não estamos elegíveis para tomar banho.
That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj describes everyone necessary, but many of the Babajis who are residing there, they're not living in Radha Kunda. They're living in Naraka Kund, hell.
Por isso é que Bhaktisiddhanta diz que os Babajis que vivem em Radha Kunda não vivem em Radha Kunda, eles vivem no inferno.
Radha Kunda is invisible to mortal eyes.
Radha Kunda é invisível aos olhos materiais.
Nor can any mortal ever bathe in Radha Kunda.
Nunca qualquer mortal pode se banhar em Radha Kunda.
I think we get the idea that anyone who's got any upadhis or misidentifications or material desires whatsoever is basically not really able to bathe.
Qualquer pessoa que tenha algum tipo de desejo material ou concepção dessa
So
forma,
ask yourself.
Não tem capacidade para se banhar em Radha.
As far as bathing on Balashtami at midnight is concerned,
No que diz respeito a banhar-se à meia-noite,
this is also questionable.
é questionável.
There's no mention in the Vaishnava scriptures of bathing at midnight in Balashtami.
Não há qualquer tipo de descrição de Vaishnavas sobre banhar-se.
It's mentioned to bathe on Balashtami, but not at midnight.
É descrito banhar-se em Balashtami.
Coming in from somewhere.
Vem de algum lado.
We won't deal with that one. Another question, what does it mean to live on the banks of Radha Kunda?
Outra questão, o que significa viver nas margens da Radha Kunda?
What does it mean? As long as we're thinking of the bank, we can't live on the banks of Radha Kunda. Is that what it means? As long as we're thinking of money. So many people are thinking of money there at Radha Kunda. Kundas and different people. Money, 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 money. They're not really at Radha Kunda.
As pessoas que vivem nas margens da Radha Kunda só pensam em dinheiro, dinheiro.
And if we're thinking like that too, we're not at Radha Kunda either.
E assim, como nós,
We're thinking of the bank, the money, the money, and money.
Vivemos na margem, pensamos em dinheiro, dinheiro, dinheiro.
Let's hear some other things. Let's see, where's this from?
Vamos ver outras coisas.
Don't know where it's from. Okay, probably from the purport. We cannot attain Vrajvas without the mercy of the Brajbasis.
Nós não podemos obter Brajbasis sem a misericórdia dos Vrajbasis.
This is Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. But why should they speak to us?
Porque é que eles deveriam falar connosco?
The ones who speak to you, money, 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 are not considered Brajbasis, although we respect them as such.
Aqueles que vêm atrás de nós e dizem dinheiro, 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 eles não são verdadeiramente Brajbasis.
How will we see those Brajbasis with our material eyes?
Como é que nós conseguimos ver esses Brajbasis com os nossos olhos materiais?
We're covered with pride and envy.
Estamos cobertos de orgulho.
They will not listen to what we say
Eles não ouvem o que nós dizemos.
because we have no attachment for them. They do not speak to us.
Eles não temos qualquer afeição a eles não falam para nós.
We're still attached to ourselves. Why would the Brajbasis engage in eternal spiritual pastimes speak to us?
Porque é que estes Brajbasis que estão a praticar estes passatempos eternos, deviam falar connosco.
You are searching for material pleasure.
Se estão à procura de prazeres materiais.
They say.
Eles dizem, os Brajavasis.
Has Krishna become a material object for your pleasure?
Krishna tornou-se objeto material para o vosso prazer.
One cannot know about Braj except through subservience to Sri Rupa Manjari and Sri Rati Manjari.
Nós não podemos ter o privilégio de conhecer isto se não servirmos Rupa Goswami.
This is why we see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, even Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's last words to take the dust of Rupa and Raghunath Goswamis.
Como as últimas palavras de Bhaktisiddhanta.
His last words.
De Rupa e Raghunath Goswami.
When we receive the mercy of Prabhu Nityananda, on that very day we will understand the mercy of Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari.
Nesse mesmo dia conseguimos entender a misericórdia de Rupa Manjari.
Don't forget about Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. And another the same lecture he continued, another lecture, and 2 or 3 lectures here. He says, only the most fortunate live with pure hearts in the most sanctified place.
São os mais afortunados vivem com o coração purificado nos lugares.
That means Sri Radha Kunda. And worship Krishna 24 hours a day.
E reverenciam Krishna 24 horas por dia.
Sri Radha Kunda is the highest section of Goloka.
Radha Kunda é o sítio mais elevado de Goloka.
The most confidential place in the spiritual sky.
O lugar mais confidencial do céu espiritual.
And the only shelter for devotees on the platform of Madhurya Ras.
E o único abrigo para os devotos de Madhurya Ras.
No one else can understand Radha Kunda.
Mais ninguém pode entender Radha Kunda.
The point is that one must forsake materialistic conceptions.
O ponto é que nós devemos perceber.
Be free from, cast off material conceptions.
Devemos nos libertar dos conceitos materiais.
After attaining the apricot body of the gopis, that means that which is not seen by material eyes.
Depois de obter o corpo das gopis, ou seja, o corpo não pode ser visto pelos olhos materiais.
Living entities, apricot, living entities render apricot service to apricot Shri Radha. There's a lot of apricots. It's not apricots, it's apricot. Apricot means unmanifested to material eyes. There's apricot, which means that which is seen, apricot, that which you cannot see. Spiritual. Let's say spiritual, make it easy. Spiritual living entities render spiritual service to the spiritual form of Radharani.
Entidades espirituais executar serviço à forma espiritual de Radharani.
In the spiritual Vrindavan, as the spiritual maidservants of Radharani.
No Vrindavan espiritual, com as donzelas espirituais de Radharani. In the transcendental groves, you know what groves are? On the bank of the spiritual or apricot Radha Kunda. Os campos transcendentais nas margens de Radha Kunda.
Those are Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's words. It is very clear from all of this, we are not talking just about the physical residence on the banks of Radha Kunda.
Então é muito claro que nós não estamos só a falar das margens físicas de Radha Kunda.
We're talking about a very high level of consciousness and state of heart.
Estamos a falar de muito elevado nível de consciência e nível mental.
Srila Prabhupada said, Vrindavan is revealed in the heart of the sincere devotee.
Srila Prabhupada diz que Vrindavan é revelada no coração do devoto sincero.
In reality, it is not on any map or in any part of any country.
Na realidade, não está no mapa de qualquer país.
Make sense? Ready to go? Mahapasadi Govinde, Hamapamri, we're ready for that one. Huh? That's really when we come to our Sarup, or at least on the edge, Bhava, at least on the then maybe. Another question. What does it mean? To take shelter of and serve under the direction of the confidential serving maids of Radharani.
O que significa tomar a direção e servir nas donzelas que servem Radharani?
A few points.
Alguns pontos.
What's special about Radharani's manjaris?
O que há de especial nas manjares de Radharani?
What's special?
O que é de especial?
They're serving Radharani, and particularly, they may also be serving, of course in this case it's Radharani's manjaris. There are different types of manjaris.
Diferentes tipos de manjares, neste caso são os manjares de Radharani.
But in this case, it's their mood.
Neste caso, é o seu humor.
And if we want to enter into that realm of Radharani, we also have to imbibe the mood of the manjaris.
Se queremos entrar nesse espaço de Radharani, temos de estar no humor destas
And cherish it as our own. Live it. You completely, it's your life and soul.
Okay, temos de absorver.
There's nothing else.
Ser o nosso objetivo.
There's, highest relish is unavoidable relish to be in that mood. There's some comments here we mentioned. This is actually from a lecture of Srila Prabhupada now. Be serious. Don't be misled by the allurement of Maya.
Sejam sérios, não se deixem levar por Maya.
Remain strong.
Permaneçam fortes.
Remain strong.
Permaneçam fortes.
So that's not what it means. And then in this life you'll be able to become fit candidate to go back home, back to Godhead.
Então, nesta mesma vida poderão ficar elegíveis para voltar a casa.
Strong in one's spiritual practice, that means of course. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadramadaha. You'll also be one of the associates of Krishna as you desire.
Pode ser também um associado a Krishna se assim desejares.
Krishna will give you the opportunity to serve him as you desire.
Krishna dá-te a oportunidade de o servir como desejas.
If you want to serve him as a gopi, you'll get that position.
Se queres servi-lo como gopi, obtens essa posição.
If you want to serve him as cowherd's boyfriend, you'll get that
Se
opportunity.
queres servi-lo como vaqueirinho, tens essa oportunidade.
If you want to serve Krishna, follow in the footsteps of Mother Yasoda, accepting Krishna as your son, you'll get it.
Se queres servi-lo como Mother Yashoda, podes ser Krishna como teu filho.
Accepting Krishna as your son, Nanda Maharaj, following him. Following Nanda Maharaj.
Se queres ter como filho, podes seguir os
We have to follow their principle. Not that I shall become Nanda or I shall become Yasoda. No, we have to follow their mood, their principle.
Não, temos de seguir o seu princípio e o seu humor.
To want to become them, to think we are them, or to want to become them, Prabhupada says, that is Mayavad.
Tentar se imitá-los, tentar ser como eles.
It's not just to become Krishna.
Isto é apenas ficar
You usually think, oh, a person wants to imitate Krishna, this is Mayavad or something. I want to become God.
Eu quero imitar Krishna, Mayavad.
It's also to think, I have become the Acharya, I have become the Guru, I have become this, I have become that.
É também pensar que eu serei o Guru, eu serei
Mayavad.
isto, serei aquilo, serei tudo Mayavad.
You have to follow how they are loving Krishna.
Temos de seguir como da maneira que eles amam Krishna.
You have to learn that.
Temos de realizar.
Then you'll get the chance of Krishna's association.
Então temos a oportunidade da associação
By following their mood.
seguindo assim o seu amor.
Nityananda does not directly instruct in the confidential service of Krishna.
Nityananda não instrui diretamente no serviço a Krishna.
Srimati Radharani is the guru of the inner circle of the servants of Krishna.
Srimati Radharani é guru do círculo próximo de Krishna.
Srimati Radharani, however, accepts the offer of service of only those souls who are especially favored by Nityananda and are deemed by him, as his long sentence. Just up to there if you can. Missed the last part.
Radharani apenas aceita o serviço de as
Especially
almas
favored by Nityananda.
que são favorecidas por Nityananda.
And are deemed by Nityananda to be fit for her service.
Que são redimidas por Nityananda para serem elegíveis para o seu serviço.
There is therefore a most intimate relationship between the function of Nityananda and that of Srimati Radharani.
Então, essa será uma relação, correlação entre Nityananda e Radharani.
Almost all of this is from Bhaktisiddhanta, by the way, in the Harmonist or from lectures in different places.
Quase tudo isto é de Bhaktisiddhanta, do Harmonista, ou de palestras.
And the final question which we'll pose, what does it mean to serve Radha Kunda?
O que significa servir Radha Kunda?
Well, let's see, Raghunath Das. How did he, Raghunath Das, his mood, what was his mood? One of intense separation.
O humor de Raghunath era humor de separação intensa.
Intense separate, we've already heard Radha Kunda is also, you could say for devotees, is a feeling of intense separation. Vipalamba Bhava. But that intense separation, not only for Radharani and her service, but also from our mentors, from other devotees. This is Raghunath Das, by the way, expressing his feeling of separation from his mentors, the other Goswamis, and other Vaishnavas who'd already left the world. We sing that song, Ye Anilo Premadana. We sing it, it's nice. Sing a nice tune. Jai, 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 Jai. We don't have that mood of feeling that intense separation which the Narottam in this case, or the pure devotees have in separation. So, in his Manasiksha we can get some idea of the mentality of Raghunath Das. I'll just read one verse from Manasiksha. And really speaking, Radha Kunda in our line means, Rati Manjari Raghunath Das Goswami is the, well, we heard yesterday how he was the instrument through which Radha Kunda was manifested in terms of its present, arrangement. He excavated the Kunda and built this nice Kunda. I don't know if you can say he's the gateway or the proprietor, I don't know what words you could use, but we get the understanding that he's definitely, without his grace, how can we enter into Radha Kunda? And without the grace of Sanatana and Rupa, how can we get that also? So this is one verse, this is the first verse in fact. O mind, I grasp your feet and beg you with sweet words. Please cast away all hypocrisy and pride. And develop intense, unprecedented love for my spiritual master. For Brajabhumi. For the people of Raj. For the Vaishnavas. For the Brahmanas. For the Gayatri Mantra. For the holy name. And for the transcendental shelter. That is the fresh young couple of Raj. Radha and Krishna. Oh, we'll just finish off with just a last comment that it was fast in this regards, how do we serve Radha Kunda? It's interesting to note that we did mention yesterday, with little expansion, but how Srila Prabhupada, when he was at Radha Kunda, and he received the earth-changing instruction from his spiritual master. Right there in Radha Kunda, of all places. It could have been on the other side of Govardhan, could have been in Vrindavan or Mathura, on the bank of the Jamuna, maybe in Varshan, maybe in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Allahabad. But no, it was on the bank of Radha Kunda.
Podia ter sido todos estes locais, mas não.
Or
Mas
in
foi
Radha
Radha
Kunda.
Kunda. Foi em Radha Kunda.
And what was that most significant instruction practically that Prabhupada said he ever
Qual é
received?
que foi esta instrução tão significativa que Prabhupada disse que recebeu?
What was that? Mahapasade Govinde Nama. No, it wasn't that one. What was it? Pardon?
Print books.
If ever you get money, print books.
Então, a instrução foi: sempre que recebas dinheiro, imprime livros.
This is the first time Prabhupada got these words. Preaching is one thing. Printing books was maybe not exactly necessarily the same thing. This is where Prabhupada got that instruction. If ever you get money, print books.
E Prabhupada recebeu esta instrução: sempre que recebas dinheiro.
And from that, Krishna, Radha Kunda, his banks are spilling over the whole world.
E com isto,
Prabhupada has taken
Radha Kunda estão a cobrir o mundo.
taken that Radha Kunda everywhere.
Então estamos com Radha Kunda em todo o lado.
We have no idea what's going on.
Nós não temos qualquer tipo de ideia do que se passa.
How this mercy of Radharani is flowing everywhere.
Como esta misericórdia de Radharani está.
Just like the Maha Mantra. Another reason we don't generally chant Radhi Radhi. Same principle. Radharani has made herself accessible to the unqualified in the form of Hare in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Da mesma forma como cantamos Radharani está no mantra Hare Krishna.
These transcendental literatures are like, you could say, a literary form of Radha Kunda.
Podemos dizer que é uma forma literária
The mercy of Radharani in a literary form.
A arte de misericórdia de Radharani.
So if we want to bathe in Radha Kunda, we bathe in these scriptures.
Se queremos banhar em Radha Kunda, banhamos-nos nas escrituras.
Makes sense, huh?
Faz sentido?
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Kunda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's transcendental. Brihat Madanga ki jai. Go Premanandi, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. And now we're going to bathe ourselves in prasadam. It's also a form of Radha and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.